What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you for swinging by. We got an awesome show tonight. It's going to be an interesting one. We're going to have some fun. That's all that matters, right? Let me mute the feedback because we're not going to have that on here. Just trying to find the infamous sound setting so Windows doesn't beat me. There we are. All right. We got Andy Brother in the chat. Thank you for joining. Chris Radio Live. Thank you for joining. And the awesome link for tonight. Yeah. We're just letting the usual YouTube notifications go out. Give everyone a chance to join before we kick this off. Volume meter, there it is, centered so I can see it. So when it drops, I know immediately. And transition. Oh, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? I'm Frank KG5AHJ, and we're gonna have some fun tonight. I got Pete. Or I'm sorry, Pete is the character's name. I got Kermit gonna be coming on, and he's gonna be doing an interview and talking about his Prepper Pete and Friends series. This book series talks about prepping, and also there's two amateur radio books and more books about amateur radio coming down the pipe. We're going to get into that in a second, but before we do, we got to do the thing that we do all the time and play that awesome intro video. Quick shout out to all my Patreons who makes the show possible. You can support me by joining Patreon in the link below. And on to Tank Radio. Hey, that was awesome. Let's go ahead and get the rundown out of the way. Thank you to all my Patreon supporters, Patreon and YouTube members. I can't do this channel without you. Your support really does make things happen nowadays. And I can't do this without your support, so thank you for doing that. If you don't want to do any of those, buy me a beer and super chats are active in the chat. You can go ahead and donate that way or buy me a beer. That link is in the description below. The tank pads, I don't have it right now because it's in my POTA backpack because I was just out a couple weekends ago POTAing. Those tank pads are over on Etsy's Corky QRP's website. Those are awesome. And let's bump up my audio there. Those are awesome, and they're great radio reference for the amateur radio bands in the U.S. and make sure you don't get outside your privilege. Plus, it doubles as an awesome mouse pad. I love it. Gigaparts has awesome 5% off if you use Tank at checkout. That's Tank at checkout, and you'll get 5% off on select items. If you want more information on that, there is a description of 5% off from Gigaparts in the description below, and it is a awesome things. And if you do support or use Tank at checkout, it helps supports me and the channel. Yeah! Finally! The audio podcasts are every week. Unlike this live stream is every other week. And but my audio podcast, there's a drop every week. So that means there's 2 audio podcasts you don't get here. If you want to hear what they are, you go ahead and search Tank Radio on any audio podcaster app, and you'll find me, Tank Radio, and see the awesomeness that is over there. I think that is it for it. The announce. Well, that's it for the rundown. Here is the big announcement. The month of December is my all hands meeting. That means any supporter at any level is going to be able to join the Tank Commander meeting with me, and we're going to hang out and have some fun and hopefully talk about what's coming up on Christmas and all y'all's plans. Man, I got to take a drink. Sorry, I ate some bread before doing this. Probably not a great idea. Um, and Don says, remember your booty hats. Yes, dude, the booty hat is awesome. Let's go ahead and I can throw that up on screen right now. Boom. Is that the one? I think that's the correct one. Look at this live switching. Yes, I am a pro, hopefully. There it is. The booty hats are over on Gigaparts. These hats are awesome. As it comes, throws up an ad for them. These booty hats are only $30, and they're amazing. And I love my booty hat. I use it everywhere, everywhere. You can go ahead and check that out. Thanks, Don, for dropping the link. But as I was saying, yes, all hands meeting. So the all hands, the tank commander meeting is usually only at the tank commander level. That's the top level. That's $10 a month. Over on Patreon, a little bit more over on YouTube, which is fine because YouTube kind of takes a little bit more out. However, the tank commander is once a month, and you have to be that level. But the all hands meeting is any subscriber at any level. Paid membership is going to come in, and we can't wait to have those. Those are always fun. I think that's probably going to be this or next Saturday. We're just going to move to Saturday because Sundays start to become a big family time right now. And I want y'all to go have fun with the family. And so tonight, I had this book sent to me, Radio Rick Relays Relief. I thought this was an awesome book, and I really enjoyed reading it. It's really written for kids, and I got the author Kermit coming on. Unfortunately, Kermit had some scheduling stuff pop up, and what we kind of knew before this happening, and we went ahead and did a pre-recorded segment. So I got a awesome 30-minute interview of Kermit talking about this book I'm going to be playing here in a second. But also, due to some things popping up, he's not going to be joining us like we initially thought about after this live stream. So I'm going to have Paul, Prep Pan Paul, come on. And we're just going to be talking about children in amateur radio, what things that we can do, and things that I've seen done in amateur radio. And that's how we're just going to hang out and finish out the hour. So, without further ado, because I think I set this up right, played with it to know how to do it, we're going to go ahead and play. But while this is playing, I will be taking questions down, and I'm going to be answering them after the interview. And if I can't answer them, we're going to forward those along with Paul, or not Paul, we're going to forward those along with Kermit, and we're going to get those answered for you. So I'll still be in the chat. I'll still be around behind the scenes playing with stuff like I do on, Jason's Ham Radio 2.0 stuff. But let's go ahead and start the interview. And it doesn't play. This literally worked. Wait. Was pre-render the interview? Why is this not working? Dude. We're fixing it live. Oh, I have to hit play?
Hank,
there we
how's
go.
it going?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Oh, man. I was introduced by your books because you sent me the first book here. I got Radio Rick Relays Relief, and I was like, what is this? I honestly, I sat on it for a little bit, and I was like, I thought it was a cool, like a fan gift, and I was going to try to open it on camera and do some questions and answers. And finally, curiosity got the best of me because I got QSO cards from about a year ago still. Finally opened it, and I got the book. Man, this is awesome. And I can't wait to talk about it. But I before we really get into it, I just want to know, like, how did you get into amateur radio?
How to get into amateur radio?
Yeah.
Great question. Radio's actually been one of those things that I've always aimed into. About 12 years ago, when I first started the radio or the Prepper Pete and Friends series, even back then, like ham radio was a communication tool that I knew would be helpful in an emergency situation. And so I just kind of had it on the list of future books. And I've got a friend, his name's Josh Culp. He's my first Elmer, N4VEL, and he contacted me. I guess it was 2018 or so, and he was like, "Hey, when are you get to the ham radio book?" And I was like, "I'll get to it. I'll get to it." And life had happened, and I wasn't doing anything. And so in November of last year, it was actually Veterans Day weekend. I met with him on a Friday morning, that Friday, and we were having breakfast at Quantico, Virginia. I was on orders for the Navy, and he goes, "When are you going to write the ham radio books for Prepper Pete?" And I was like, "Fine, I'll do it. I need some help." I said, "But I probably need to get my license. I need to get certified, so I'm not a poser, right?" And he goes,
Mm-hmm.
"Yeah, you need to." And I said, "How hard? Like, how hard's the test? Like, I knew there was a test. I knew there's a couple of levels." And he's kind of messing with me. He's a really smart guy, kind of an engineering type, and he just goes, what was your major in college?" Now, Josh is well aware of the fact that I was a poli sci major because we went to the Naval Academy together,
Mm-hmm.
and so I said, well, he goes poli sci. He goes, yeah, it'd probably take you a couple of months, and he said that as he like put a big pancake in his mouth or something in his pie hole, and uh, and that just spun me up. And so I went and did some things for the Navy that day, served my country, and then that evening I went and studied, scheduled an exam for Saturday night, and took the technician. Passed that one. Actually, I scheduled it for Sunday, and then I was like, no, I can do a Saturday one too, so I scheduled two. Studied 24 hours, passed the technician. Studied another 24 hours, passed the general. Studied another 24 hours. I thought I had 48, and the guy called and said, I've got you on my list. And I was like, tomorrow? He goes, no, in 20 minutes. And I was like, oh, I guess I'm taking my extra tonight. And so I finished studying. Now, I readily admit that I zoomed through. I mean, I understand a lot of the concepts already. Being in the Navy, I was a line officer before I was a
Mm-hmm.
chaplain.
Mm-hmm.
And so we used line of sight and VHF, UHF kind of stuff. But I kind of burned through, barely squeaked by on the extra. But I see
Hey,
it as a
man.
license to kind of learn. And
C's get degrees, so you passed. That's
I
awesome.
passed, like,
You
right,
did it like
by
in a
one
week.
question.
Oh
Yeah.
man, I'm still a general, and lonely
That
general,
well,
forever general, probably.
so yeah, I called Josh and I was like, "Hey, aren't you just a general? When are you going to get your extra? Is that going to take you a couple of months to study?"
Yes,
And
yes.
he responds back with, "Kermit, do you even own a ham radio?"
Hmm.
Uh, so I drove down that Wednesday and he actually took me and I did my first Parks on the Air activation
Hmm.
within, I don't know, 96 hours of when I first started the whole process. And that's what landed me into ham radio or amateur radio. And it has been a whirlwind ever since.
Hmm. That's awesome. That's awesome. We'll probably, if we have time, pick your brain more about it. But I love that story, man. You just wham, bam, bam, bam. I'm all done. Okay, now what about a radio?
Probably be helpful to have one.
Yes, yes. So you got your license and you've been doing the Prep Repeat series about prepping and children's books, and the next step was to do a radio book. And which one was your first amateur radio book?
My computer's still wigging out on me. The which book was first, or which
Yeah,
one was the first radio book? All right,
first
I'm
radio
tracking.
book. What was your first
Internet
radio book?
connection unstable tonight. First book was the Prepper Pete Prepares, and it
Uh-huh.
was that was back in 2012.
Mhm.
Um, I was watching Nat Geo, Doomsday Preppers. Do you remember that show?
Yes, yes.
Uh, how not to prep your kids for preparedness, and because they would scare them to death. And I was like, there's got to be a better way. And I thought I'll go to Amazon and find a book, and there were no books on preparedness for kids.
Mhm.
And so I literally wrote the first book on prepping for kids, and that turned into Survival as Sam Stocks Up, which was book number two. And eventually Prepper Pete's 12 Days of Prepper Christmas, which is based on a true story. It's
Ooh.
a luggable loo and some bio TP was the first day of Prepper Christmas.
I love it.
And on day two, though, he actually got two walkie talkies. So maybe there was a nod somewhere in there
Yeah,
to it,
yeah.
but that was a true story. And then Gun of a Son, gun safety
Mhm.
book.
Oh, I like
And
that.
then yeah, I need to send you a copy of the remainders. I apologize for that. And then
It's all right.
I took the break. The Navy. took the break as in the Navy called,
Mhm.
went active duty and did some crazy stuff. And so the first radio book was Radio Rick Relay's Relief.
Mhm.
And I was struggling. My typical books were just here's the information, and Josh was like, no, you need to make it kind of fun for a kid. Ham radio is about emergency comms and connecting with people, and so in this particular lovely story,
Mhm.
someone there's a power outage, a big storm happens. Somebody gets hurt. They need to call for help. Cell phones aren't working. The towers are down, and they get hold of Radio Rick. Prepper Pete comes and finds him, and he's able to use the repeater to reach someone, much like what happened in the aftermath of Hurricane Helene.
Mhm.
Just I didn't
Many
know it was a
stories.
yeah, and many other stories, and so that kind of took me down the rabbit hole. Found a new illustrator, did that sort of stuff. I did the covers for Poda Pam Activates the Park and Prepper Pete and the Ham Exam. So all those are coming. I've got another character called Chuck Morris, who's
Ooh.
a Morse code operator. Chuck Morris taps into trouble, and Chuck Morris can do HF without a radio. But then I heard it was actually Jason on Ham 2.0 was interviewing Chris
Mhm.
Weatherman, the Angry
Mhm.
American,
Mhm.
and he was telling this story about where he was in the woods, cell phones weren't working, someone was lost, they didn't show up when they were supposed to. He called for any station emergency traffic, and then they found her, and I was like, man, that's like a true story of ham radio. And so I reached out to Chris. He was gracious enough to, to meet with me at one point. And that's the second book that I think you've got a copy of this one, but
Yes, I
the
do.
yeah, Survivalist Sam Saves the Day.
Yes,
And
yes.
story by A American across the top there. So kind of
Yes,
excited.
there's a couple of Easter eggs when I was looking through here. We might get to them. That I looked at. I was like, oh, I wonder if he's referencing.
Probably am.
I love it. I love it. So about this the new books, the Survivalist Sam, the story is a one of the characters' mothers goes missing, and they use radios to help locate because why can't they just use cell phones?
Well, they're in the middle of a national forest tank, and
Mm-hmm.
and they
And they're
literally have no cell phone reception. What a novel concept.
mm-hmm,
I think the
mm-hmm.
guy was using T-Mobile.
or Mint
Sorry,
Wireless.
I don't want to demonetize you, but yeah, or,
You're
or maybe
fine.
maybe it was Mint Mobile. Yeah, I need a Mint Mobile call out somewhere in here. I'll work on that for a future one.
I love all the details that you put into the books. I love the characters, and they're just so fun. I like it. Scrolling through here a little bit, the first book, the Survivalist Sam, I was looking through it, and Radio Rick Relay, and I'm just looking at the screens and the like little hints and Easter eggs you put in here. It's just so cool. And here we go. And boom, boom, bam. There we go. Transition. I finally did a thing.
Beautiful.
um, thank you for the digital copies to allow me to do this. The 14652 is the national calling frequency. It's on the HT on the radio. I love that. I love that. And you got a lot of other details hidden and scrolled away in the book, especially the ham shack that you have for Sam here. Is it Sam?
That page took the longest.
Oh man, I like how much stuff is hidden there. We got QRZ, perfect, and then all the radio cards on the wall. I was like, oh, that's so cool. And I had to go to the digital copy because in the book, I was literally sitting there and trying to read all the call signs on the wall, and I'm like, oh, I wonder who's that, and that's oh, is that one of mine? No, not yet. Um,
Yours
then
is coming. I promise, Frank. I promise.
KC5HWB, I see. Do I recognize any of the others? We got Josh over here, KI6 and AZ. Then Short Josh, my Jason's down at the other corner. And then we have a Ham Radio 2.0 sticker. We have an Explorer sticker. Love it. I love it. And then the Gigaparts. Have you talked to Gigaparts to get on the shelf? I can make that contact.
Have not talked to him. I sent him a copy.
Mhm.
I'm waiting for a reply. We'll see what happens.
Mhm. And ham radio outlet sticker right there. Um And I think that's all I see here. What am I missing? We got
Well, I think on this page, the 7.6263 frequency is actually one of the nets. It's Hams for Christ, and so
ah
I check into that net from time to time. Every frequency that's on a radio is some sort of legit connection that you see throughout the books.
nice, nice. And there
Matter of
was.
fact,
Mm-hmm.
if you look well on Survivalist Sam Saves the Day one,
Mm-hmm.
the frequency on that one's actually the local net for emergency traffic in Ocala National Forest.
Okay, I was
So
thinking that frequency was here we go, we got it right here. Um that frequency was the what do they call it? The woodlands frequency where you check in
I
like every third or fourth of the hour.
oh I know what you're talking about for people that are in distress. You
Yeah.
check in at the top of the hour.
Yeah.
I don't remember the name. Yeah, no, that's the repeater for that area
Okay.
specifically. When I talked to Chris Weatherman, I asked him like what frequency were you on, and you'll see his logo on Survival Sam's vest.
Yes, yes.
That's the Angry American logo. As
Yeah.
we work through that one,
Yeah, I did see
you'll
that.
also see if you
There's the truck right there,
yeah if you look in
angry.
that one on yeah angry look on page 13 of
Th-
that one,
uh-huh,
and
13.
you'll see there's another ham shack uh, set. We use those a lot of times to
Yes, here we
well,
go.
I use them as Easter eggs. They're Easter egg heavy. But if you look on the screen of the computer in the back, it says uh,
Building.
building the next generation of hams. Radio Rick's books bridges generations. It's the ARRL.
I love it. I love it.
So I sent that to some ARRL people to see if maybe I can manifest that, but I
Yes.
haven't I haven't gotten a call back yet. So we'll see.
Yes, yes. DX Engineering. Again, some Gigaparts, the Explorer. Do you have the Explorer backpack?
I do not have the backpack. No, I have the little Explorer handy talkie.
Okay.
That was the first official radio that I bought. Well,
Mm-hmm.
with the
Mm-hmm.
deal that they have, it's like
Mm-hmm.
$20, I think, and
Yeah.
I got to go visit the new Gigapart store in Huntsville.
Ooh, I've been there. What'd you think of it?
So oh my word, you check out the review I left on Amazon. It was so good. I got an email from Sue that works at Gigaparts,
Oh,
and
I know Sue.
yeah, my wife, we were staying at the Holiday Inn that's like maybe 200 yards away, and I'm like, "There's a new Gigapart store somewhere around here," and we're getting on the road, and she goes, "Is that it?" And I'm like, "There's no, that's it." It was game over. It was like it's like the first time I walked into Fry's Electronics,
Mm-hmm.
just Wonderland.
Well,
So
they're trying to be the fries, and also with the new classroom they have there to invite people in to give lectures and kind of learn and kind of shop and peruse at the same time. But I love that whole learning aspect of it. And did you happen to find the hidden TARDIS?
I, I did not. I didn't. I did not find it. I looked a little bit, but
I gotta
um,
dig through my pictures here to see if I could find it.
did you find it while you were there?
Yes, I did. Which Dayton,
I had just
Huntsville?
found out about it. I didn't know it was a thing. I'm new to all this, Frank.
Yeah,
Somebody's got to teach me.
I don't see.
And I
I
got there
see
and I
it.
was like, I think there's a TARDIS somewhere, honey. And she's like, a what?
It,
Like, never mind. So I just
it was probably just a video. I didn't take an actual picture. It's in the video. The Huntsville 2047 2024. Go ahead, look through it. It's probably the one that, before everything kind of happened. Us hanging out, having fun. I check, go there, and there's a hidden TARDIS.
gotcha.
I don't tell you where it is, but I find it.
But
Going
it's
back,
an Easter egg.
it's an
That's
Easter
good.
egg. Um, you got the ham mug, which I don't have my mug. It's downstairs. I had to wash it. I got a mug. Does Station sell mugs? Yeah.
So,
Then sad hams. That's what I wanted to point out. I'm pointing at my screen like you can
yep.
see me. Sad hams. I love that. I love that you put that in there. Then underneath it, that's the 911 center, and you got the wolf
Yep.
wanted wolf.
Yeah, they're my bad guys.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's the Prepper Pete 12 days
Yes,
of Prepper Christmas for
for
the
the
Christmas
office
party.
party. Yes.
We for the Sad Hams, I'm actually going to do a Prepper Pete and the Sad Ham book.
Nice.
This, I guess, this is the official announcement,
Uh-huh.
where they go find the sad ham and they teach him he doesn't have to be sad. He can
Oh,
he can be a happy ham. Happy ending.
if you haven't done the art yet, can you make the sad ham Kamrd, Mike?
We'll talk offline.
Nothing but love for you, Mike. But I just think that would be hilarious. Make him the sad ham.
And let's see what frequency could I possibly put him on?
Mm,
I
is
was
it-
thinking maybe 7.2, somewhere around
yeah,
there, like,
yeah,
POTA activation.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Or 80 meters. Have him talk about his gout.
I've got lots of we need to talk. Because I'm looking for more ideas too on it. But
Uh-huh.
yeah, we could have a little fun with that.
Yo, I love it. I love it. Um, and so this is the latest book is the Survivalist Sam Saves the Day, and you said you got another book coming out for amateur radio.
Well, I've got a few other books coming out. So the Survival of Sam, this is actually on pre-order. You have an
Ooh,
advanced reader copy.
yes.
It's actually got. I think you have the actual advanced reader copy. There's
Mm-hmm.
still some typos in yours,
Okay,
some edits to the images that we made,
that's
and
fine.
it'll be a collector's item one day.
Yes, yes.
That's all that means.
Oh, this one
But
has the
that's going
not
to be
for
released.
resale.
Yeah. I'll get you one without that at some point. Um, yeah. So the Survival of Sam Saves the Day comes out December 12th. So it's coming out this coming Thursday, and that'll be released. I think I'll be on the Angry American podcast Wednesday night to
Oh.
kind of talk about it with Chris and
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
where it was done, so people can tune into that. And then we've got another book coming out called Nervous Ned Needs to Know, and it's my school friendly book, for lack of a better way of putting it. When I used to get phone calls, I'd get a phone call. They'd say, "Hey, can you come do a reading for our kindergarten class or our first graders?" And I'd be like, "Sure, I'd love to." And then I'd get a phone call the day before, and they'd be like, I said, "Let me guess. You looked and saw that there's a picture of a gun on page 13 and 17 and 20." And so they would uninvite me to the school reading
Oh,
because it had
come
pictures of guns in the
on.
book. Not here, not in Alabama, but up there where I was at the time. And so I had started building the book back then, and we've just now gotten through it, and it's actually going to be an introduction to PACE planning. So it's going to teach primary, alternate, contingency, and emergency for kids, and it goes through some certain things, but that's the precursor for when we talk about PACE communications later.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be talking about having your primary, which would probably be your cell phone. I mean, most of us talk about that. Your alternate would be, maybe a handy talkie. You've got a contingency and an emergency, and so that's coming. The next ham radio book is probably going to be coming out in January, though,
Mm-hmm.
and that's going to be. Um, I think we went. I'm still up for debate with me and the illustrator. I think we're going with POTA Pam activates a park,
Mm-hmm.
and it's going to introduce the different levels of POTA and different roles that people play, and but we're probably going to have 6 books in 2025.
Mm-hmm.
We've kind of gotten our system together now, and so as we start going through that, yeah, POTA Pam, and so she sets up in the park. She talks about activators and hunters and uploading your log and all of the goodness with POTA. And I've personally, uh, POTA has been what's kind of jazzed me up and gotten me really engaged with experimenting with antennas.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you remember your crap. I haven't figured out how to put that in the book yet, but your cable, your radio, your antenna, and your power.
Well, it's not
And
just all your crap. It's also some of having just the other accessories and accoutrements. Like one of my last videos is I talk about if you pull out your power pole cable and it's broken, what do you do now? Is that a failed activation? You got to go home? No, I actually have a gadget that I just rip off those power poles, shove the raw wires in, and I plug it right to the power pole connection. I keep going. Um, and you got to have the bag of adapters because there's one day you're going to pull out a wire and it's going to be a
yeah,
random adapter. And you're like, you got this new antenna you want to try, but it's not the standard BNC, it's the other BNC. I don't know why they put the other end on it, but now it's not going to fit on the cable. So you got to go and find the male adapter to get it on there right. It's just all.
why are there so many different antenna like connections?
You're telling
Ah,
me, man. You're telling me.
well, I had one. So I got an X6200 on my last travel,
Mm-hmm.
and for POTA. Actually, I have absolutely
Ooh.
loved it.
Mm-hmm.
And before that, I was using a true SDX, so that's a little bit of an upgrade,
A little
right?
bits.
But 5 watts, 8 watts if you have an external battery hooked up. So
Mm-hmm.
I had my true XDX battery, and I had the plug to this one that you can connect the power poles to, but I
Mm-hmm.
haven't done
Mm-hmm.
that yet because I was on travel. So I literally just jammed them down on either end of the battery pack, and then I had one where I jammed one into the inside of the barrel connector and I wrapped the other one around and taped it in place.
Yeah.
So somebody walked up to the bench and they were like, "Excuse me, what are you doing?" Calling in airstrikes. I mean,
Well, this is
with
how we
my
do it in the field.
yeah. So and the park rangers are really nice. I've met a lot of
Oh,
park rangers
oh yeah,
doing
they're
POTA.
awesome. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You just got to get everything you need with you when you go out in the field. The two radios you pulled out, those are QRP radios. Do you actually do QRO, or you like to stay in QRP world?
No, I do QRP just because I travel and I can carry those in my backpack.
Mm-hmm.
And I've heard you guys talking about like going through TSA and the first time I traveled with the radio was with a with an FTDX10 in my backpack,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a bit of a that's a bit of a beast to
Been
get
there,
through. I
done
got
that.
pulled over on that one. Yeah,
Really,
yeah, I
I did
know.
it.
Yeah,
I got pulled over for a 20 amp hour battery. They were looking at it. They're like, "What is this?" I'm like, "It's a battery, like you have in little
I don't
power
know. I've never
carts."
seen that before.
Don't want to hear that answer.
That guy asked me to carry it in. No, I so in the battery, I actually Amazon shipped a battery to where I was at,
Mm-hmm.
but a buddy of mine, he said, that no one at TSA, like they don't even know what they're looking at with the batteries half the time. So
Dude.
he literally just got like a label maker
Mm-hmm.
and just printed a new label that says this is a 10 amp hour battery. Like
Mm-hmm.
put the serial number. It may not be a 10 amp hour battery, but it says it is. No one's ever questioned it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the other eye I got raised is when I went through security with this Denko battery pack.
Oh
It's
yeah.
just all raw, made, exposed. Everyone's like, "What is that?"
Nothing looks suspicious about that at all,
No,
Frank.
no. It's like it's fine. You hook it up with power. Let's see what it does. They don't like those answers.
Did you want
I
me to
like
plug
them.
it in front of all these people?
Yeah, come
Yeah.
around, gather around. Let's create a crowd out of this. Uh,
I was
uh,
listening. This isn't ham radio, but I was listening to a comedian the other day. He said, if you really want to have fun at TSA, you just walk up, you put your jacket in, you put your belt in. He says, and just very calmly, just take your pants off and fold them up and stick them in the bin.
yeah.
He says, and if you do it calmly enough, the person behind you, they'll just take their pants off too, and then you.
Oh, I so want to do this because I'm the guy always being pulled over and be like, "We need to search your bag more." I was like, "I don't know why you want to do that with me, but okay."
It's because it's got a tank radio sticker on the side.
Oh man, but there's so much electronics in my bag when I fly. It is the CPAP machine, the laptop, the camera
Mm.
equipment, batteries for supporting all that. Then a lot of times my switch.
643 antenna adapters.
Yes, yes, you got to have those. Oh, my rule with antenna adapters: if you give one away, go and buy three more because you're always going to lose one somewhere, and then you're going to give another one away, and then you get down to a last one
That's a
again,
good
and then you got
rule.
to go and buy more because when you let someone borrow it, it's gone. I've let adapters field days and winter field days and just showing up to a park and someone with a bunch of friends are like, "Oh, I don't have this adapter. Here
Like,
you go."
why
Gone.
is my pack 3 pounds lighter?
Yes. But man, I added it up. I think my backpack could be worth around 6,000 sometimes of all the equipment and stuff, and the radio too. Then I had the handheld radio here, and oh man, they always get
Yeah.
me. I wonder why. I wonder why. Hmm.
Wonder why? Nothing suspicious.
Nothing to
So,
see here.
question for you, Frank.
Shoot.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
If you had a super cool amateur radio book for kids
Mm-hmm.
that you could give away, what would
Mm-hmm.
it be about?
What it would be about? That's a good question, and I know what you're doing, but I like um,
Just looking for ideas.
just looking for ideas. I would love, and this is going to be probably too hard, to have a book to help a kid through the exam. Break down the concepts for like a 6 or 7 year old can do. So explain some of the high level math and just break it down to make it easy for them to understand and with diagrams that they can relate to and easily see some of the principles and to explain it to them because they don't have to know the answer like memorization. But with majority of these kids, if you explain the principles and how to apply it, then
Yeah.
they can answer the question. And that's how I study. And that's probably going to be a big ask, but I would love to see a book tailored for kids to how to pass the technician exam. And
Yeah, I think that's a phenomenal idea. That's one of the things that I struggled with on this too was
I do have
I mean
another
some of
idea.
these concepts.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say if you look one of the things that I had struggled with in Radio Rick was how do you explain frequencies to kids? And
Hmm.
if you look on the if you look on the page 18, um, that I mean I can hold it up to the thing, but
Yep,
or you can pull it up on your screen. But
I'm going to pull it up right here.
trying to yeah, how do you imagine what a frequency looks like? How do you describe that to a kid of going? And so that page on the left there is the one that we ended up.
Hmm.
Uh, I had this epiphany of him describing it and how one frequency connects to a radio on the right page, but
Hmm.
it doesn't interfere with the other ones. And
Hmm.
so you know I had that one as part of it, and then the other one was you know we talk about bouncing it off the ionosphere. If you flip over to page 21, or if you scroll down, I think it's one page, trying to kind of explain that
Yeah.
concept of how it bounces. And you know, we put the city in between because
Hmm.
obstructions aren't an issue with HF.
Hmm.
Uh,
And I like
and
how
then
you kind of break it down here. Short waves equals short distance, and yeah, yeah. So we got UHF is this ultra, then high frequency, and a little longer. Then HF is a little longer. Well, that was my idea. I forgot that because I read the Radio Rick Relay when I
no,
first
no,
got it. I was
that's
like,
just the
oh my
start of what
god,
you're talking about.
yeah.
Yeah, like the whole ham exam
Mhm.
question bank in kid
Mhm.
form.
Mhm.
A
The
600 page kids book.
The other idea would be to go into the fact that HF, you don't need anything between y'all, and that you're starting to illustrate it here on page 21, and then you put the story behind that of how to utilize it, because you got the on this story here is how to use what a handy talkie is, what a repeater
Yeah,
is, and you kind of hit on HF. But if you could craft a story around HF and how you don't need it, and I could literally go talk with me an antenna with someone in Italy with an antenna, and there's no you use the word infrastructure, and a couple of times I saw that would be my one critique. There's a couple of bigger words. I'm like, oh, you could probably change that a little bit
that's
to
a big
relate.
that's a big word for kids too.
It's a big
I get
word.
pushback with some words, but it's an
Yeah.
important word.
It's a important word, and when I read it, I was like, "Yes, you are a prepper guy. I understand what you mean when you say infrastructure, but I would have just with no other technology using between us or something." Um,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Well,
to,
I do have one. No, yeah, and I think you're absolutely tracking where I have one coming up. I don't know what I'm going to call it, DX Danny or something like that, where he's
mhm.
doing distance, like
Oh
really
yeah,
long distance, and it's radio to radio
Ye-
working on. So that concept I
yeah,
like, and
yeah.
how
It's
do you break
radio to
that down?
radio, and then you'd be like, "There's no satellites, there's no internet." You show the underground cables leaking continents all around the world, um, and then there's no cell
Ooh,
towers.
and the cable's broken on the bottom of the ocean floor. Like,
Oh
yeah,
yeah, yeah. Or if you're gonna try to turn it into the disaster, one of the hurricanes hitting like one of the islands, Nepal, or I forgot that other island, that it's just wipes out all the cell towers, wipes out all the power, and since there's no power, the internet relay station that's down by the coast where all the internet comes in with the underground cables out, that's gone.
Yep.
And the only way for information to come off that island is our amateur radios because we got batteries, we got solar panels, we have all this set up. We can set up and just get on the air and work.
Yeah, I've got a solar sunny gets a charge or solar sand. There's something I haven't quite figured out the exact
Hmm.
title, but it's a salamander that's a solar expert, and he's
Hmm.
actually in the background of the Radio Rick one. When you see Rick setting up his radio
Hmm.
on page 9, that's Solar Sunny in the background. So that's an Easter egg to a future character.
I love how you're building this universe. And of
And
course,
if
you got
you
the amateur radio service logo there. Love it.
yeah, if you look the other book, I'm just
Yeah.
jumping back and forth on books from
Yes.
you.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you look on page 5 of the Survival of Sam one, the character that's warming up in the background,
Hmm.
uh, that's Chuck Morris,
Ah.
and you can see him doing the roundhouse kick.
Yep.
So I'm I've been waiting for Chuck Morris for so long it's not even funny. So
I love what you did with the name. I love it. Um, I I kind of don't have any other questions here. Do you want to highlight anything until we before we jump back to the live part of the live stream?
no, I am just thrilled and honored to be here. I always like meeting my heroes, and I see you on different streams, different times. My feed is always full, and I'm like,
I love
I
it.
don't have any tank radio stickers yet,
We will correct that.
but I'll get one at some point, and then I think they're probably going to show a couple are going to show up in a few books here in the near future. So, but Christmas is coming. Great gift for kids or people that don't have kids, whatever.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you for joining. Let's go ahead and jump to the live part of the live stream and watch us change clothes real fast. Ready?
Oh, good evening, everyone, and my sincerest apologies that I am actually not live for the live stream. Long story, not going to go into too much of it, but I'll just say that I'm sorry that I'm not there, and I really wish that I was because I love spending time with Frank. As you guys know, all of his listeners, he's an amazing guy. He's been very gracious with me, and I am grateful to have been on the stream, both with the recording that we did, hopefully with this video as things go forward, and then tonight. But I want to do a little invite. Since I can't actually be there for the live stream Q&A, I'm going to invite you for a couple of things. One, engage with some comments below the video. Leave your question below or leave it. I'm going to come back and watch it. I will answer every question that is posed to me directly in the comments below to generate some activity there, hopefully on some things. And I want to invite you and Tank to maybe have a little fun. So my quest is, what do you think? And Tank and I talked about this already, but what do you think an upcoming Prepper Pete video, or what Easter eggs should I include in some of the upcoming books? And so, just to be clear, coming out this Thursday live is going to be Survival as Sam Saves the Day. This one is based on a true story. It's got by Angry American, and so I invite you, of course, to pick up a copy, paperback, if would be best. And reviews on Amazon are always a killer, but the key is that in future books, so I've got Poe to Pam Activates a Part coming out. We've got Chuck Morris Taps into Trouble. I've got a few others like Prepper Pete and the Ham Exam that just goes through the different levels of exam, at least here in the US. And we're going to mention a few other countries, but those sorts of things. And then what would you put in Easter eggs as far as like in the background, frequencies that may be used, anything like that? I am interested in hearing your inputs, and I trust that Frank is going to do an absolutely amazing job of both fielding those questions, because he does that on several podcasts. He's quite the Renaissance man when it comes to YouTube, but also it'll help me kind of have some stuff as well. And so I'll be looking for those. I'll incorporate them. I'll respond to every comment, and I just want to say I am grateful again for the opportunity, especially to Frank and what he does for teaching so many like wide variety of things to such a wide audience. And I know that each one of you as listeners know that he's amazing. If you're not already a subscriber, recommend that you subscribe and also connect with this Patreon as well. As for me, you can find me at prepperpeteandfriends.com, and you can go there, sign up for our mailing list. We'll be sending out brief updates from time to time, and hopefully some more stuff as time goes on. But I am grateful. Oh, follow me on Amazon too if you want to see when new books come out, because we've got another one coming out by the end of the year, I think, called Nervous Ned Needs to Know. It's going to be a great time, and there's probably going to be a Frank sticker, a tank radio sticker somewhere in there. But thanks a lot. I hope you all have a great evening, and I look forward to reading the comments and engaging with them here in the very near future. God bless, and 73.
Hey, hey, thank y'all for sticking in there, man. I got a lot of good questions, a lot of good comments. I'm going to bring Paul in, and this was queued up a second ago. Damn, there we go. How's it going, Paul?
Hey, it's good, man. How's it going?
Doing good, doing good. Thanks for joining me for short notice. Let me just run down these ideas. I saw a lot of them. Fast
Yeah.
and Furious in the chat, man. And you had a great one. What was it? What one did you have?
As far as names, I think the only one I came up with was Skywarn Scott.
There it is. Yeah. As soon as you said, it, I found it. Skywarn Scott. I like that. Plus that it covers weather and ham radio. So
hmm
cool dual play there. Then we got who said Sean here. RF Randy gets burned again. I love that. I love that.
See.
Oh, I don't want to delete these because I'm going to forward all these the ones I took down. I'm going to forward them all to Kermit. Kermit did join us briefly in the Zoom,
Yeah.
and I think it was completely on me. I fat fingered him coming in, and I'm worried that it keeps kicking him out. I sent him the email; he hasn't responded yet. So if that's true, Kermit, I'm sorry if you're watching this. I'm sorry. He said he's gonna. If you have any questions for him directly, please go ahead and put them in the comments. He's going to be looking at these when he gets a chance. He just had something in his family come up, and he wasn't able to join us after that pre-recorded interview. Let's just go down some of the questions I got here. Will these come in ebook versions from Colin? I don't know. I only have seen is the books themselves. These books are great read along books, and I'm showing them backwards. There you go, Frank. Video, hello, for kids, and we flipped through it during the interview a couple times. The pictures, very colorful. I love them.
It does show
So,
Kindle. It does show Kindle prices.
oh, so it is on the Kindle. There you
Yeah.
go. Perfect. Love it. So we got that question answered. Yes. What age ranges for these books? These are kind of the younger youth books, and like to read along with me or read and show the pictures. Probably you could probably get a 10-year-old to kind of help explain what radio is with these books. I think that is pretty good. Um, and another suggestion by Hamnomics, Spider Bean Man trilogy. Yes, that needs to be a thing. um, and what were
There
the
was a
other?
Sunspot Sally I saw.
Yes, Sunspot Sally. I like that. Yeah, I get to get that from Handnomics again. Paul, not you, Paul, the other Paul. There needs to be a space weather woman in the book. I love that idea. We did look up the wilderness frequency, and there's been several comments in the chat already. The one I found, it says the frequency is just 14652 on 2 meter, and they do top of the hour. And I think the actual protocol is every 3 hours, but a lot of people also just do top of the hour. So if you don't know when that actual 3 hour window is, just so that it's just always on the top of the hour. I like that. I wanted to bring Paul on here for a little bit just to talk about other ways that we can get young kids here interested in amateur radio. Don't have to be young, just the use that as we call them. Where did my notes go? There they go. We have first. I just wanted to highlight at all the conventions I go to. Huntsville, Alabama has a youth lounge. This lounge is usually a 3 to 5 stations where they have different things set up to introduce kids to science and technology and STEM. and they usually have a soldering station. There's a programming station. There's a station that they do a circuit, and it's usually a CW listener beeping one, which you'll hear in the background of all my videos at Huntsville. Is always do 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 do. Those are the kids running around with the buttons. It's fun and annoying at the same time. It's the perfect thing to do for a kid to take this home.
Yep.
Um, and then the ARRL has the Teachers Institute where they bring teachers in. And let me go ahead and link that one in the chat right now. They go through and teach teachers how to teach science and technology ideas using ham radio as the practical demonstration and as a thing that they can do to actively use the concepts that they are being taught. This is an amazing thing they do. Josh at over at HRCC did a ARRL youth live stream marathon last week. Go ahead and put that also here in the chat. That was a fun stream. There's also um, did did you have anything, man?
Yeah, there was the. Did you mention the Youth on the Air?
Youth on the Air. I was going to let you transition to that. Youth on the Air. Let me pull up their website. It's right here. Bam. They have camps for kids.
Mhm.
This year is going to be Denver. 2025. There's slots for they bring kids in and pretty much do the same things, teach them science and technology concepts using amateur radio as the practical part of that demonstration. And it is really amazing that they do this. This is I think a week-long camp that they do for the kids.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
there's a volunteer. There's all sorts of opportunities here if you want to help, if
mhm.
it's nearby you, I think.
I think they're last time I talked to them, they're really overwhelmed with the number of people trying to physically volunteer. The
Oh,
best
yeah.
thing that they said that you can do is help donate because a lot of this is they set up funds for the kids to use. So if the kids are not able to attend for financial reasons, that they try to bring them along with that fund. There is a
Mhm.
awesome donate button over here that you can go ahead and do that for them, and that is awesome. The AWO Teachers Institute, the page I linked to, there's also probably I think a donation somewhere because this I know the AWO Teacher Institute is
That's
100% funded by us amateur radio operators, and it's done by all of us helping to donate.
yeah, it's all the way down the bottom. A little plus sign and text donate to support the Teachers Institute.
Yeah, there it is. Sweet. And I'm just going to go ahead and click on that now and bring it right to the page. Bam. Look at this. I'm doing a thing. But all these are awesome things that we can do to help get kids on the air. I like these books, man. You were talking to you were saying that you're thinking about buying a buying set for your niece or nephew, right?
The books.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got my grandkids coming up in 10 days. I thought this would be good. Buy a
Oh,
couple of them and see what they
awesome.
say.
Niece and nephews, that's my go-to because that's what I got.
There you go.
Yeah,
Give it to what you got.
yeah. I'm thinking about maybe trying to give a couple of these to my nephew, who's about that right age frame for books like this to help him learn about amateur radio
Hmm.
and get him maybe a little interested. We'll see. He'll probably just be that's the thing that Frank does, on the box that talks, and I can't understand it. Because when he comes by to listen, it's always static. What are
Well,
you doing
it's
now, Uncle Frank? Trying to find the station.
it's a good time right now with that Santa on the air if you've got 80-meter capabilities.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Um,
And it's 39. I want to say 3910. Maybe someone will know before I can pull it up.
it's a race. I found it. Just sendontheair.com.
Is it 3910?
There's a video of kids doing it. Santa on the air. The history. Oh, I think I just saw numbers. No, it's on the webpage somewhere.
Yeah, it'll be there somewhere.
Yeah, I'm just going ahead and drop this in the link. Someone will probably tell us in a couple of seconds. Um, this is amazing. I love what he's doing, Kermit, with these books, raising awareness. He already has a couple more books coming down the pipe talking about amateur radio, and I'm looking forward to seeing my Easter eggs in there. We got Jason, we got we got Josh, and we got Short Josh, and now it's time for Tank Radio to get his own Easter eggs.
It says as young as 3 to 17.
3 to
Someone
17.
asking about the age.
Well, I think these are a little young for 17, but the
Yeah, probably.
concepts in them and stories are in them. A lot of these stories, at least the 2 amateur radio ones that he did say, were inspired by true stories that were told to him. So I think these are awesome books. These are going to go onto my shelf of awesomeness behind me. So look for them in a later video, man. Paul, thank you for
Yes.
joining me short time.
Sure, man. Thanks for having me.
No,
I apologize for the throat. Just trying to get over a bug.
yeah, it's going around, man. It's going around. But just get better. That's all we ask.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for coming on for the short time. I honestly I was worried that we're gonna have like 30 minutes to kill.
No,
This
it was
turned out
fine.
great.
Yeah.
Go ahead and just tell us, where can we find more about you and what you have coming up on your channel, man?
Well, on pretty much all the socials, it's Prep Ham Paul, Preparedness Ham Radio Paul. And I do a live stream every Sunday night at 8:30. I'll do that tonight, just opening a couple of Gigaparts mystery boxes.
Ooh.
Usually the first Sunday night stream is preparedness, and the other 3 are radio topics. And then I do videos off and on, but mostly it's just a weekly stream every Sunday at 8:30 Central.
Nice. Well, thank you for coming on a short notice. I appreciate it.
Anytime.
This was a fun interview, and I talked to Kermit a little bit after the interview, and he's definitely going to be coming back at a later point on the stream. So there will be a next time. So I'm looking forward to it. I think kind of that's all I had. So thank y'all for watching. I'm going to go ahead and just bring myself on real fast. Thank you to my Patreons. Y'all are amazing. I can't do this without you. Don, thank you for dropping Paul's channel up there in the chat. And just remember this. I just wanted to highlight this again. Tank Commander meeting all hands this month. So for the month of December, it's all hands meeting. So any supporter, any level of Tank Radio on YouTube and Patreon will be invited to the meeting with me, Tank Radio, and we're gonna have some fun and probably drink some bourbon, and I might have a cigar depending how cold it is outside. Y'all are awesome, amazing, and as always, y'all, go forth and conquer. Say bye.
Tank Radio. That's my bye.
A quick shout out to all my Patreons who makes the show possible. You can support me by joining Patreon in the link below. And on to Tank Radio!